Wow, I'm live. I am. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like this one. This looks. I got off today on time today from work and got up to the grocery store. I got a video I'm gonna put up in probably about an hour, and all it's just a short video. It shows you what is going on at the grocery stores. Now, I learned something today that they have romaine back on the shelves. Romaine lettuce is back on the shelves. Um, and it was no information as to say where it came from. But I'm learning a lot. I know that we get food from all over the world, but I found out something that I think you'll find very shocking and something that's very interesting. Excuse me, which is I was I go on the internet sometime and I ask questions of Google. And I said things like, "What is the world's cheapest fertilizer?" And once I asked that question, Google came back and it talked about things such as some animal manures and things like that. But when it told me that it's a country, China, that they use garbage as fertilizer. Now, not just uh, food scraps, but actual from the what they call it, the where you dump all your trash. I can't think of it right now. If someone out there can think of it, like the landfill. That's what it is. So they showed these bulldozers loading up trucks that were of waste, trash, paper, plastic, dirt, from restaurants, everything was in there. And they take it to the farm and they dump it all over the ground, and they say that's the only way that they can keep up with running their business, which is a farm. That they made a case that fertilizers are very expensive there, and also that the government also ties in and allows them to use garbage as fertilizer to grow their produce and their fruit. Now, watch this. When I saw that, I dug deeper and found that there were people that had put photos up of batteries that were in the trash. I mean, that was on the property, and there was batteries. There were personal items that women use. There were diapers. There were plastic. There were beer cans. Everything was in this trash, and they were using it to grow crops. Now, when they finished growing the crops, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thank you. When I saw that they were being got the green light from the government and that they were growing, and really the Chinese they are brilliant people anyway, in my opinion, just my opinion. But the the trash and the soil was coal black. It was black, and the soil was black because in that trash, it was actually trash that was composting, and but it had all this toxic stuff in it, like I said, with batteries. Uh, it had all of this garbage in there. Now they grew fields of lettuce and romaine, and it showed cucumbers and melons and things like that. Now, when they showed that, and they asked the farmer, which was a woman that was running it, and she said, "I am using this methodology, this method, excuse me, to grow food because I can't compete if I try to buy regular, fertilizer. It's just too expensive." And she said, "I have never gotten sick off of any of this produce, and I've been eating it for years." That was her explanation for using uh, that method to grow things. Now, went a little further. and there was a picture of a female, and she was holding this hose out towards her crops, and the crop and what was coming out of the hose was black like tar. And when you read on, it said they are pumping sewage out of the sewer holes to use as fertilizer on their crops. And she was spraying this black muck all over the ground, and it was sewage. I mean, sewage. My God. And in their country, some of the sewer lines are not as it can't be as clean as here in the U.S., but because there's more people there, I would think that they get more use. But they were spraying this stuff all over the ground. Hello, how you doing? Forest permaculture. That's a great way to grow things, permaculture. And they were spraying all this black muck all over the ground, and it was sewage. Now, all that being said and done, you look at other pictures, they showed the lettuce. They were beautiful lettuce that they grew from this stuff. And I have to give credit the way it looked. It was big, big, huge romaine. It was healthy looking. It was clean looking. They had it up on, the stalls in the markets and everything. And they said they shipped that stuff. They shipped that stuff in different parts of the world. And it just blew me completely away that they shipped that stuff all to different countries. And, if you don't know, then nobody's going to tell you. No one's going to mention it to you. So I wanted to get online here and tell all the people that that follow me. I don't like the word follow. I just did listen to some of the things I talk about. I don't want to eat stuff that's cooked with sewage. I don't want to eat anything that came from a dump where there's no regulation or anything. And then in some of the photos they showed with old rusty batteries were in it, like those AAA and batteries that you use in your flashlights and all. I mean, they had that stuff in there. They showed diapers. They showed women what they use monthly. They showed that all in there. And I was like, oh my goodness! I said, everything is in there. It's trash. And what do you expect, right? Um, but they grew all these beautiful vegetables, and they say that this method helps them to be profitable. And I was done after that. So I thought, I was on the right course 18 years ago when I started thinking about growing as much of my food as I can. And then when I saw that the romaine a few weeks ago was tainted coming in from California, uh, and then someone said something to me when we were discussing it at work, and he said, forget all the fancy names they give it, hysteria. He called it. He said the disease that's on these lettuce that they're talking about is actually, if you break it down, it's fecal matter, feces. That's what this is on. They give it a name so it don't sound so bad, but it's actually just feces is on the lettuce, and that's how people are getting sick from eating. Now, someone asked me, where do you get how are the lettuce getting into feces? And I said, well, I mean, it could come from the animal manures that they use, that it is not broken down properly because everything is done fast. They do everything fast today. Uh, and yeah, exactly. It's just raw manure. And so by not being cured, being used all fast and everything, every once in a while, when it comes to especially lettuce and other vegetables as well, and you get some people get sick behind the fecal matter that's on this food. Now, I did see in a video here on YouTube where they had a dairy farm, and and it was these big tanks outside of the where the farms where the cattle was being housed, and all this fecal matter, they was pumping it out into these trucks, and they would take it out to the fields and load up this machinery, and it would just spray all this wet fecal matter all over those fields. And I was like, oh my God, And I said, that something about this just don't look right. Uh, Now I know for thousands of years, farmers have used animal manures to grow their crops, but they used a process. I believe they knew stuff about aging it and curing it to get rid of some of the germs in it. It's like when you get when you do yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. 'Cause you're not supposed to eat fecal matter. But what gets me is that when you make um, what they call it compost from weeds, and if you do the process correctly, you'll be able to get it to a certain temperature, 130 to 160 degrees, and it'll kill the weed seeds that are in the compost, making it a very good product to use for your garden. But if you don't do it correctly, you can actually load your garden up with all this weed seed. You'll actually be planting them. So anything can be used if you use it correctly. I guess if you use it correctly, um, and so every plant eats just like we do. The plants are eating what they need to survive. Even if you go to a cemetery, and if you ever drive by a cemetery again, I guarantee you won't look at it the same way again. Once I tell you this, I saw some of the biggest and prettiest trees at the cemetery. And I stood there for a minute and asked myself, why is these trees look so well fed and they look so healthy and big and broad around the trunk? And I thought about it. There are lots and lots of boxes under the ground with human remains in it. And human remains to a tree is nothing but fertilizer. And so, and even though you may not want to, think of, grandma or somebody like that being plant food, but in reality, that's what it is because they put it in a little tin box, and over time, everything rusts away, and and the cloth materials, the clothing, and all that, it's all fertilizer, and then it remains, it's fertilizer. So these trees have these huge, massive roots that just tap all into those boxes, and it just for years it just feeds right there, and it's just interesting. And then trees have a network where they communicate with each other, through I cannot call the name up right now, and I hate to bring this up to you, and I don't know the name of, but all of them have the ability. Yeah, yes, that's it. Yes, they definitely communicate a network of the microorganisms they connect in, and trees can send certain nutrients back and forward to one another. Is what I'm trying to get across here. So that is something that nature created. When this big rock we live on was created, it was designed to be the best put together with the best uh, 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 you know nature put it together correctly. You know, and we try to change things, but nature already knows what it's doing. It's man that is always trying to do it some other kind of way, different way. So so fertilizer is if you would just study the fertilizer itself, it could take you on a journey the rest of your life. That's how in depth the fertilizer studying fertilizer can be. I mean, from like I said earlier with the oh, hello, and it could be that deep because when you look around, I mean, from like I said earlier, the funeral parlor, I mean, excuse me, the graveyards. You look at the people are using fecal matter. Now, fecal, some places are right now using human urine, and they keeping it quiet I can't think of this town right here in the U.S. that they're using it in large quantities. They're testing it on certain crops to see how well it does. Now, we've heard over and over again that human urine is sterile, and that it is a very clean material to use, as long as the person's not on a whole bunch of meds. But then, if you look at the reality of it, how many people we know that aren't really on meds today, from everything from antibiotics to whatever. Yes, exactly, exactly. That super highway, and I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. Yep, mycelium is a interesting the way it can connect trees and plants together, and they could share certain chemicals, and they keep each other healthy, and but I remember putting wood chips in my yard and seeing all this mycelium on everything, and I was thinking this is a good thing. And then I remember all the mushrooms, if you will, that were growing up in different areas of the yard. I used to look at them and say, "Wow, what is this? It looks like a interesting, weird plant. It would be yellow in color and white in color, and it was just an interesting thing." Oh, okay, you love the colors. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, nature. You love the flowers. Um, yeah, I like to just look at them when I see them. But the mushrooms were always very curious. I was always curious about them. And then this other type of plant life that would grow, like I said, was like orange in color and it was white in color and it was, you know, yep. But folks, I love it. I love it. I'm going to keep gardening, but I'm so excited now about getting out and doing my thing. I got some stuff growing in the house here. Like I said, I have some peppers that are hanging on. I'm overwintering these peppers, and I want to check out and see how difficult it is to do, um, and if it's difficult at all. Because right now I'm having much success. They're doing fine, and I'm not actually paying a whole bunch of attention to them, but they're doing fine. The garlic from the refrigerator. Um, I simply now I want you to do this because it helped me out, and I think it did a better job. I took the garlic and set it in a shallow bowl, just the blunt end of it, with a root, roots come out of it. And about the second day or the third day, the roots had already come out, and I couldn't believe that it was that fast. I said, "Wait a minute! I put them in the ground, they won't do this. But if you put them in the water, you can root them out and then put them in the ground." And so that's what I did. I rooted them out, and I mean, within about, like I said, about 2 days, maybe three, two and a half at the most, I had uh, I had roots on them, decent roots. I'm not talking about just a couple roots here and there. I had a lot of roots on these the garlic bulbs, if you will. But the plants were beautiful. I mean, and I took those and I put them outside, and I kept some indoors. So I want to check and see how they fare, because garlic is a very important herb to keep around. I mean, if you grow a garden, I think it should be a must that you can keep some kind of garlic in there, because you have some gourmet garlics that you don't see in the stores that are considered to be valuable, and that if you could grow enough garlic, and if you have all your paperwork and everything together, you can sell the hell out of some garlic, because people will always buy it. Restaurants need it, and if you could bump the prices of some of these stores, they'll buy from, especially if you got exotic type garlics. You could sell those. And there's a store, I can't call the name of it, but it's online, and they say they specialize in garlic. No, wait a minute. Oh, there's that onion. But they also carry garlic as well. And you want to get exotic garlic. And because some garlics are very mild, some are very avocados. Let's see. Avocados. Have I had any success growing avocados? I want to say yes, because I remember removing a seed from one and putting it in water some kind of way, and, and within a few days, these beautiful roots came out, and then I think it died after that. Yeah, yeah, I think it died. I think it died after that. Mycelium. Yeah, that's what it's called. Thank you. I appreciate that. I couldn't think of it at the time. You know, those kind of names you don't use every single day, and it's good to have a group of people on that. Some people can remember things like that, but I just couldn't focus on it at the time. I worked 9 hours last night, and the day before that 16, and the day before that 16 hours. So I'm pretty much fried. But I just can't wait to get garlic. I mean, can't wait to get the garlic. Well, see what I mean? See what I mean? I can't wait to get the garden started. And I got some stuff in here growing, but and I like it. I like it because I see something green. I see something that's growing, and it makes me feel good that even though it's 30 degrees outside now, and they're talking about it's going to get much colder very soon, very soon. And I got most of the stuff taken care of on the car. That's all done. I think everybody should stash a lot of food in their house because this might be a rough winter. So things like beans and rice and things like that, stash that stuff up in there so you have it in case it gets real crazy. Um, Carry a shovel in your car to kind of get you off and on your way if you get stuck. And I bought one of those little power packs. They're about the size of a CD case, a little small actually, I think. But I bought one because you put it in a glove box. If your car, happen to act crazy, you just take it out and plug it into a cigarette lighter, shoo, starts you right up. And it's good because it has over 25 cranks on it before it goes dead. And that's a good thing to have when you are out, especially in your vehicle at night, or if you're out on the roads. Carry some blankets, carry some water, and a couple of cans of sardines or something so you can eat until how long you're there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Morning Garden Show. And before I start getting very delusional from a lack of rest, I want to go. But I love it when you guys tune in. I really do. I love it when you guys tune in. It makes my day. And I'm glad to just get in here and talk to you and just, it feels good. And, I wish I had a bigger audience, but, it is what it is. I don't know why, but for years it's been pretty much a small audience, but I'm not complaining. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Morning Garden. Thank you very much.